In a sunlit castle on a green island, where apple trees leaned toward the sea and soft bells rang at dawn, lived a noblewoman named Caterina. She was known more for her kindness than her beauty, and though she was surrounded by silks and ceremonies, a quiet loneliness followed her. It was the deep, constant ache of being seen only for what she represented, a title, a future alliance, but never for who she truly was. One day, news arrived that sent ripples through the court. Caterina was to be married to a man from a distant land. While her family celebrated the strategic match, whispers of uncertainty trailed behind the cheers. Who was this man? What would he be like? Soon letters began to arrive. They were written in a careful, thoughtful script, and their contents surprised her. Her future husband didn't write about power or wealth. Instead, he wrote of gardens and books, of long evenings spent in quiet reflection, and of the unique pain of living as a curiosity in royal courts, always observed but never truly seen. In his elegant words, Caterina recognized her own hidden sorrow. For the first time, she felt a connection to someone she had never met. She wrote back, and in her letters, she was not the noblewoman Caterina, but simply herself, honest and unafraid. The day of his arrival, a strange silence fell over the castle. As his ship docked, a tall, composed figure stepped onto the shore. And then everyone saw it. He was entirely covered in thick, soft hair from head to toe. His face was framed like a creature from the deepest forest, yet his hands were gentle, and his eyes were intelligent and shy. The courtiers recoiled in shock and disgust. Whispers bloomed like thorns through the stunned crowd. Beast! Cursed! A monster! They turned their faces away, some even making signs to ward off evil. But Caterina did not step back. She saw the way his head was bowed, as if he was waiting to be dismissed, to be sent away in shame. She saw the flicker of surprise, and then relief, in his eyes when she walked forward and greeted him without flinching. She offered him her hand, her voice steady and warm. Later, in private, her father and his advisors asked her if he wished to refuse the marriage. They assured her that no one would blame her. The entire court expected her to retreat, to save herself from this humiliation. To their astonishment, she refused. "I will marry him," she said, her voice leaving no room for argument. She was not marrying him out of pity or even out of duty. She was marrying him out of recognition. In his loneliness, she saw a perfect mirror of her own. He was the only person who had ever seen past her title, and she was determined to see past his appearance. Their life together unfolded in quiet, gentle moments. Caterina began to learn his native tongue, and soon they were sharing stories in the language of his homeland. They spent long afternoons walking in the gardens, where he taught her about the herbs and roses he cultivated with such care. In the grand salons and at lavish banquets, when cruel jokes or thinly veiled insults were directed at her husband, Caterina defended him. Not with anger, which would have only fueled their judgment, but with a sharp wit and unshakable grace that left the mockers speechless. In private, away from the prying eyes of the court, they found a world of their own. They laughed together, their joy echoing through the stone corridors. They built small, daily rituals of tenderness, a shared cup of tea by the fire, a book read aloud before sleep. They discovered a profound happiness that existed far beyond the shallow gaze of others. In time, their first child was born, a beautiful baby girl. And she, like her father, was covered in the same soft, downy fur, with the same gentle, intelligent eyes. And so it was with their second child and their third. The court watched them closely, a silent, waiting audience. They waited for Caterina to grow ashamed of her family, for her spirit to falter, for her to finally regret her choice. But she never did. She held her children with pride, her love for her husband deepening with every passing year. Her family was different, yes, but they were bound by a love so strong. It was a fortress against the world's judgment. Years passed. Then, during a particularly bitter winter, a cruel and ambitious advisor saw an opportunity. He petitioned the king to have Caterina's husband permanently banished. He argued that the man and his unnatural children were an embarrassment to the realm, a stain on the royal bloodline. The court was summoned. The hall was packed with nobles, all whispering, all waiting for the drama to unfold. They expected Caterina to stand by in silence, a tragic, broken figure. But she did not. As the advisor finished his venomous speech, Caterina stepped forward. She stood before the nobles, her family, and the crown itself, her posture regal and her voice clear and strong. It rang through the breathless hall. "You call my husband a beast?" she declared. "If he is a beast, then love has made me one too. For I have chosen him freely, and I would choose him again 1,000 times over." A profound silence descended upon the hall. Every eye was on the king, on the royal family, on the assembled court. A choice had been placed before them, one far greater than the fate of a single man. Would they continue to judge by what covers the skin, by the fear of the unknown? Or would they finally see what had grown right before their eyes, a family, a bond, and a love stronger than any crown, any law, any fear? The answer they gave that day would not just decide the fate of one family on a small green island. It would echo far beyond their shores, becoming a story for the ages, a testament to the true meaning of love, courage, and acceptance. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please like, share, and subscribe for more tales that explore the depths of the human heart. Until next time,